And now, we will hear from our county commissioners, Ramona Jackson Jones and Tom Worthan. Thank you both. So for your first 2 minutes, why are you running for this office and what makes you qualified for this office? And we will start with Ms. Jones.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Ramona Jackson Jones, and I'm running for Douglas County Commission Chairman, and I would like to personally thank the Junior League of Douglas County and my candidate colleagues, and also to the elected officials, and also to all the wonderful citizens here in Douglas County. And most importantly, she's in the back, the wind beneath my wings, my daughter Shannon Jones, who's a teacher at Douglas County High School. Thank you all for just allowing me to speak tonight. I am vying for this position because I firmly believe that together we can move this county forward. My qualifications to serve and lead this county are woven in the fabric of my life experiences as a United States veteran. I served as a Marine wife for 19 of his 20 years, and I have worked in the healthcare industry for 40 years. In 31 years of that time, I led operations. I led actually strategic planning, operational management was part of my job, also budgets and policy. I worked state government, I've worked federal government, I worked for for-profit organizations and non-for-profit organizations. I ran day-to-day operations for 14 years at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and I changed the face of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta by actually leading the largest master facility planning in the history of Georgia. I left a legacy there. I retired April 15th. And my operation, which is surgical services, is used as the standard of care in the United States. I have served in numerous positions here in Douglas County. I served on numerous boards, so my face is not new. I ran for county commission chairman in 2012, so I'm not a newcomer. I think someone said I was a newcomer. I'm not. I am committed and dedicated to serving this county. I've managed some mega million dollar budgets, and our budget here in Douglas County is $91 million. So with that said, I have the ability to effectively manage budgets with efficient checks and balances and energetically make change here in Douglas County to move us forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. It's important that, and thank the Junior League for putting on this function. It's important that you see the candidates, take a look at what they stand for, their experience, and I want to tell you tonight that over the last couple of weeks, I have found that this community is very loving, caring, and forgiving, and I appreciate all of you so much. You know, I want to recognize my wife as well. 47 years, Linda. Try to do a good deed if you say the wrong thing. 48 years. We just celebrated July 20th, 48. So, you know, I want to serve Douglas County. The reason I'm running for re-election is I love this county. I love its people. You know, my dad, evidently, I have in my genes politics. I never thought I'd be a politician. But I ran in 2005 and was elected. And during that tenure, we've had a very difficult experience going through the, you know, the worst recession since the Great Depression. We went through the worst drought that we've ever had, and then the worst flood we've ever had. But the Board of Commissioners worked very hard. We have a diverse board of commissioners, but we get along very well. We do very good. We don't make decisions based on whether we're Democrats or whether we're Republicans. We make decisions what's on the best interest of the people of Douglas County. I wanted to continue to serve you because we still have things to do. We do have I'm proud of some of the accomplishments we've made as far as no debt in Douglas County, no short and long-term debt. We have a AA credit rating. That's the highest the county our size can accomplish. We've created more jobs per capita here in Douglas County, over 5,000 in the last 10 years. And that leads all the counties per capita in the Atlanta region. So I would like to continue serving you because I want to lead Douglas County into the future. My goal now is to move Douglas County into the future, and let's win the future for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. And for our first question, Mrs. Jones, Dr. Jones, excuse me. What would you do to make sure there is a cohesive working relationship between the City of Douglasville officials and the Douglas County Board of Commissioners?
If I could just circle back briefly, I love Douglasville and Douglas County as well. I have lived in Douglas County for 14 years and have worked hard for my adoption papers. On April 15, 2016, the Georgia State Senate confirmed my contribution to this great state by giving me a resolution recognizing my vital role in the leadership and deep personal commitment to changing Georgia and also to the welfare of the citizens here. What I would do to make the working relationship cohesive, I would utilize civility, character, professionalism, and diplomacy to build and foster bipartisan and cohesive relationships between the City of Douglasville and the Board of Commissioners. When others see problems, I will see potential, and I will lead by example on every occasion. And I will not waver. So I will do what's right, and I'll say what's right, and I'll stand for every citizen of Douglas County, all the citizens of Douglas County. Thank you.
You know, it's very important that the city and county do cooperate and work together. I'm fortunate to have a new mayor that was elected, took office in January, and we are working very closely with the city of Douglasville. Recently, we have done some consolidation, and all of you who know me know that I have always supported consolidating services within our county. I was instrumental in consolidating fire and EMS. I was instrumental in consolidating water and sewer. And just this year, in only 10 months of Mayor Robinson's term, we have consolidated our development authority, which is very important in attracting industry to our Douglas County. We also, within those 10 short months of Mr. Robinson's, Mayor Robinson, we consolidated our IS department. So that's not only going to improve the services, it's going to cut the cost of services to both city and county residents. So we'll continue to work with the city. We still have a lot to do. I'm not talking about consolidating government, but consolidating services that will take the cost of providing those services off the back of our homeowners.
Thank you. Douglas County is a diverse county. How would you appeal to a diverse set of constituents in a respectful and inclusive manner? Ms. Jones?
Good question. Being that I am a U.S. veteran and actually a Marine Corps wife, as I mentioned earlier, and worked in the industry of healthcare for 40 years and been a manager, a leader, and served in numerous capacities in the community, I understand the value of diversity and inclusiveness. I've actually, as a manager, had to lead that. My role for 31 years had to make sure that I was able to bridge the gap in my department, and I had the opportunity to manage just more than one color. And throughout my career, I've learned that courage and conviction and leadership and civility has no color. So with that said, I always look at an individual for what they bring to the table, what they can say, and how they can conduct their lives. And so I don't see color, and I can truly say that because I have lived in Denver, Colorado for 10 years of my life, and it's 1% African American there. And of course, I was outnumbered. But absolutely, it was wonderful. I felt welcome, and I will continue to feel welcome. Last but not least, I realize that integrity and courage and character and class, again, as I said, has no color. I appeal to you all. I'm 58 years old, and I just would like to follow the mantra of good old Kennedy. He said, John F. Kennedy said, do unto others as you have them to do unto you. And that's what I do. I lead my life that way. I'm fair and I'm impartial. And again, my track record speaks for itself. Amen. I'm comfortable in everything I do and say, and I'm a great leader. And I'm not saying that. Others have confirmed that I'm a great leader. I'm natural, and I'm honest, and I'm fair. And I'll do what I can to serve, and I know I'll do everything in my power. I'm not about the politics. I'm about the people of Douglas County. Yes. And I'll do what's right, and I'll say what's right, and I'll stand for what's right for all the citizens of Douglas County. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I think the Lord created us all equally, with the same color on the inside. It doesn't matter what the color on the outside is. It's what's in your heart that matters. So, you know, I want you to take a look at my record over the last almost 12 years as your commission chairman. Take a look at the actions that I've taken. Take a look at the appointments that I have made. Recently, with the Atlanta Regional Commission, I chaired the Transportation Committee. I was able to get our mayor appointed to that board after I made the recommendation. And now we have two votes on a very important board. We have right now about $110 million worth of projects in the TIP. We also received funding about $980 million for the I-20-285 interchange, the one that we all get backed up on each morning. But I want to treat everyone equally. My promise to you is that we will treat everyone equally. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now for closing remarks.
Thank you. One great leader said longevity has its place. And I would like to say with grace and much dignity, I honor and respect our great chairman. He has done a great job. But I like the great Bear Bryant and Tony Dungy, and my favorite, his name is Vince Lombardi. They have their seasons. And everything in life has a season. So with that said, I am ready and capable and confident and ready to move our county forward, are ready to move us into the 21st century, innovation and technology, and then make us the standard of perfection and excellence in the state of Georgia. I want us to be able to compete. I would like us to stand with other industries, and I want to make sure that we bring the best and the brightest we are the best and brightest, and we want these companies to come here. So I can put you all to work with some great big jobs, some jobs that pay big dollars. And I'm a leader that thinks big, because when you think big, things grow in your mind. And with that said, most importantly, again, I pivoted to my message. I said, I'll stand what's right for what's right. I'll do what's right. And I'll stand for all of Douglas County citizens. And I honor and I appreciate and I'll celebrate your vote on November, as we start with early voting, October 17th through November 4th. And I'm telling you, I want to shout on November 8th, so please support me, because I need you, and I am the one.
Still one from the Gifford here. Ms. Jones, I'm not going to hold your youth and your inexperience against you tonight. I look forward to 4 more years. We need to move Douglas County forward. We need to win the future for our grandchildren and our children. It's so important to me that we have a community that sticks together. we have a board of commissioners that sticks together. I look forward. I look and see Commissioner Rollins on the front row. He talked about his finance and his banking influence. I chose him to be on the finance committee because he was the best person for the job. And Commissioner, I appreciate the assistance you've given me on that finance committee, and it shows that we are debt-free. We have a AA credit rating. We're creating more jobs than any other per capita than any other county in the metro Atlanta area. And I look forward to serving 4 more years and moving Douglas County forward and winning the future for our county. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So now, we are going to have some questions from the audience. Yeah!
Oh, that'll be good.
We hope you enjoyed the forum thus far. So we immediately submitted questions. And first I want to just say this. You guys leave us in a tough situation, but this is a citizens forum. So we're going to do what, we're going to ask the questions. So we have 6 questions, and we're going to ask each of the candidates to please respond in a minute and a half if you call your name. So the first question goes to Randy Daniel. On August 4th, Fox 5 News reported you offered Renee Godwin $2,000 to withdraw from the race. Do you feel this action was ethical, or do you regret your actions? So again, these are from the audience.
Okay, I'll respond to it. This is the last time I'm ever going to respond to it. I didn't do it. I'll die tonight or 100 years from now. I was trying to help a friend. She was in the hospital. She was a friend, and she told me she might have to get out because she was sick and her health was deteriorating. I offered her the money back. And that's the only time I'm going to address this, and I'm very disappointed y'all even bring this up at this place.
The questions are from the audience.
This question is for Tom Worthan. What steps are you taking as a politician to rectify the damage you've done with the representation of Douglas County minorities?
As I said it earlier, steps that I've taken is I've reached out to my friends. I've reached out to my friends and said, forgive me for comments that I made. But why did I make those comments? There's a gentleman in the back of the room, if he's still here.
I'm right here.
Yes, sir. I think we need to ask him what was his motive of asking those questions and baiting me into saying racist statements, and you did that.
He racist. You call me out, I'm gonna tell you what you are, buddy. You racist, man. You racist.
I'm going to remove myself if y'all cannot solve the problem.
You called me out.
So we're going to move to the next question.
You called the right